Hello, it's Irad, and today I want to talk about Star Wars Outlaws, the open-world adventure game developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft, which was recently announced at this year's Xbox Showcase. And I'm going to be straightforward from the get-go here. There isn't much from what I've seen that I like. In fact, there are quite a few things that I would outright think are wrong, and this is what we'll be discussing in today's video. Now, this is a video that makes me sad because I had a lot of hopes regarding the potential of this game, but as often with Ubisoft and Lucasfilm, everything so far seems like a missed opportunity. Alright. The first thing that struck me here when I saw the gameplay reveal was just that the game feels cheap, way behind the standards of AAA games of this genre, notably Star Citizen and Starfield when I'm talking about space games here, or at least open world space games. I'm not talking about the graphics here, which do look beautiful, that's not the question here. I'm talking about the actual gameplay, which at the same point literally infuriated me given how lackluster some of what was being shown looked. The first one, for example, is a space flight, which to me is a huge step toward the wrong direction, especially after playing games like Star Wars Squadrons, which did have great flight mechanics for a Star Wars game, but what we saw over there looked like it came straight out of Battlefront. It felt very arcade-ish and unrealistic. It didn't look as smooth as what it looks like in the movies or in Squadrons. Instead, it made me think of what we would see from a Rogue Squadron gameplay video from the early 2000s. And I really think that they should have done better there. And perhaps this would have been mitigated by a first-person view. I mean, after all, first-person views are always more immersive and greatly help in making players believe that they are part of the game that unfolds in front of their very eyes. But alas, there was no sign of a first-person view, and this is quite a concern at this stage. Apparently, it seems like this game is only third-person, right? The same goes with ground combat, which is also lacking that first-person view, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, because I am not done with the game's flight model here. We need to talk about ground-to-space transitions as well, which, for me, looked really horrible. I don't know what they tried to achieve here, but it looks like a mix of actual flight and loading screen at the same time, and within a few seconds you are already out there in space and you can see all those random objects starting to appear out of nowhere. Well, this would have looked awesome in the early 2010s, in the sadly cancelled Battlefield 3, for example. It looks so dated today, where technology actually exists to make fly seamlessly from ground to space while already seeing the objects that are out there in the sky. That's something that Star Citizen does very well, for example. And I hear a lot about, how Starfield is going to make use of cutscenes instead of actual flight to transit from planet's surface to space. Well, maybe they're right, because it's definitely saving them from such an embarrassment here. Now, the next thing that feels wrong here is the choice of having a predefined character instead of having the ability to create a character of our own. I'm not criticizing the choice of having to play as a female character. We had great female characters in the past in other games, like, for example, in Mysteries of the Sith, where we played Mara Jade, in Jedi Power Battles, as well as in Starfighter 2, we played at Adigalia, and more recently, Battlefront 2 with Jyn Erso. All of these had compelling experiences with great female characters. Now, my issue here is that I don't see how Kay is relevant in the greater picture of the Star Wars universe, because she's a scoundrel, a mere petty thug. She's a nobody, and therefore she could be anybody, because she does not matter. And this is why a fully customizable character with several possible voice choices would have been a more interesting choice here from a design's point of view. I mean, even Star Wars Squadrons, a game that was mediocre at best in many regards, offered such a feature. And the fact that I am praising Squadrons several times over Outlaws is already quite a big yellow flag. Again, I'm not going to criticize Kay here. I had my reserves, but she's actually quite growing on me. I'm starting to like the character, so that's something that I actually don't have a problem with here. So I actually like also the little cute alien pet. Anyway, last but not least, I do have a problem with how everything looks oversimplified. You want to sucker punch a tough pike thug? Well, just press one button. You want to ask your pet to help? Press one button. You want to pull off a barrel roll with your flying brig of a ship? Press one button. And this one button gameplay really reinforces that feeling that the game feels cheap. There doesn't seem to be any adversity. There doesn't seem any reason to hone your skill. All we saw was instant self-gratifying moments that, for me at least, are going to feel very boring very quickly. And this is especially true with the spaceflight aspect that's why this game looks really bad. It feels like it's one of those on-rail space sequences from the Old Republic. Well, it probably isn't. This just sucks. Well, that being said, not all hope is lost. We are still many months ahead of release, and there are still quite a few chances that Massive and Ubisoft can try to improve the game here within that time frame. Obviously, nothing will change character-wise. That's pretty much set in stone here at this point, and that's fine. It's not the most important thing anyway. I just hope that Massive will at least bring in a first-person view or a cockpit view to improve the overall immersion. I also hope that they can get rid of the fake, unrealistic looking atmosphere to space transition. It just looks so bad. And at this point, they could be much better off with a full takeoff to space cutscene like in Starfield. I also hope that spaceflight can be a bit less arcadey. Can we have capacitors? Can we at least have a radar? And these health bars here also need to go. Please give us a proper heads-up display with actual target status. So there we have it, guys. Everything I found wrong in Star Wars Outlaw, and I'm quite upset because this really is the kind of game that I've been waiting for a very long time, and I'll probably get it at least to get a taste of what it has to offer in terms of world building and RPG mechanics. But as far as the gameplay that was shown, I feel that Massive and Ubisoft have missed an opportunity to do something much better. With that comes the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about Star Wars Outlaws. And also, I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Fabin, Deployable Fidel, and Zero Crusher. I've been Eaterhead. I'll see you guys later.